This is E-Commerce Uncensored. Brought to you by Fast Forward. We're coming to you fully loaded and exposed with all the strategies and techniques for growing your e-commerce business.
Hey everyone, and thanks for joining us on another episode of E-Commerce Uncensored. This is episode number 161. My name's Kevin Manel, and I'm here with
Jason Caruso.
And today's we talked about this coronavirus last week, and I think this deserves a second episode.
Well, so as you guys know, we are in the process of creating a Facebook course called The Truth About Facebook. Truth About Facebook Ads, sorry. And you may or may not know this, but over the last couple of weeks, our Facebook ads have been tanking. And I'm doing this course, and I'm like saying to myself, like, how am I going to like do this course with a straight face when my ads are tanking?
Mm-hmm.
And I just kept saying to myself, you know what? This is just going to be another teaching lesson. This is going to be another lesson that I can share with the people who join the course.
Right.
And sure enough, how the old saying goes, right? If life deals you lemons, make lemonade. And we did that.
Yeah, and I think last week, if you listened to last week's episode, you know that we were struggling a bit. And, you know, a couple of days of working on the messaging and kind of thinking about what's going on in the world, we were able to kind of turn it around.
Yeah, and we're going to talk about that today. Because this is something that a lot of people are afraid of, like what the effect of the coronavirus is going to be on their business. But before we do, one of the ways that's really actually helped us weather this storm was through Klaviyo.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's not even a joke. I mean, when our sales were tanking for the last 2 weeks, the only thing that was working was Klaviyo.
Yeah.
Right? We would send out emails. We would make a few $1,000s. Like, okay, all right, we're still in the game.
How do we send more? How do we collect more? Because I think we switched gears and we started collecting emails more than we were. That was part of our strategy moving forward. And Klaviyo is the number one growth marketing platform.
Yeah, I mean, they have SMS now.
We were talking to our partner, the same partner we're talking about, and he was like, you know what you guys should talk about? You should talk about Klaviyo and how powerful their numbers are in their system. And Jason and I were both laughed at him, be like, we talk about that every episode. Like, what are you talking about?
So funny. So if you go to klaviyo.com/uncensored, you'll get redirected. That helps them track that you came from E-Commerce Uncensored, so we appreciate it if you use that link.
Mm-hmm.
You could sign up for free for the first 250 subscribers. You could send some emails and then move everybody over. I mean, it's a pivotal part of our business. I mean, when things go wrong in the universe, you can always rely on email, and it was another case of that during this Corona scare, and we're still going. The Corona scare is still going. So
even as hard as it is to believe, it's happening. There's nothing for us to do except roll with it.
Right.
That's Klaviyo, KLAVIYO.com/uncensored. And our next partner is Rakuten Super Logistics. Super powerful all-in-one 3PL system.
Yeah, they basically take, and I say this a lot because I think people need to understand this. They basically make a small business operate like Amazon, right? Amazon literally gets people their product in 2 days, not because their logistics, carrier.
They have a secret thing.
Well, their carrier isn't any faster than anyone else.
Right.
What they leverage is having different warehouses in different parts of the country. So if you order and you're in New York, you order something, they have something right in New Jersey. Boom, you get it in a day or two. You order somewhere in the South, they have a warehouse there. And that's what Rakuten Super Logistics does. It allows you to get your products to your customers faster than everybody else. And at a time like this where people are really being careful about where they spend their money, this can really help your business and keep your customers loyal.
Yeah, and we had a talk with them the other day, and I thought their previous offer was pretty good, and they decided they're so confident that they know that they can save you money, that they have this new offer for you guys. If you go to ecommerceuncensored.com/RSL and sign up, they have a program where they will look at all your numbers, all your fulfillment numbers, all your shipping costs, and they guarantee they will be lower and they will save you money, or they'll just give you $500. They'll hand you a check for $500 if they can't beat what you're already spending.
She basically told us on the phone. She says we will hand them a check for $500 if we cannot beat them.
Yeah.
So you got to check those guys out. Where do you go, Kev?
ecommerceuncensored.com/RSL.
All right.
Let's roll into this. COVID-19.
So,
and it's interesting about this whole thing. This isn't a new virus. This has been around. I was blown away when I saw on Facebook and I saw on a Lysol bottle that it says that it kills coronavirus. I was like, oh, I thought this was a brand new thing.
No, I mean, in fact, it's why kids they believe why kids aren't getting it, because it's been around and they are susceptible to it, or no, they are like immune to it.
Mm-hmm.
So let's kind of start this off by a little story, right? We've been killing it on Facebook, as you guys know. We did $122,000 last month, and for us, we handle a lot of client stuff, so this is our own business. It was pretty exciting.
Yeah, there was a huge connection for us.
It was a huge connection for us. It was like awesome. All of a sudden, in the beginning of March, things took a shit. They basically took a shit. Like literally, we were doing like average of, I don't know, $5,000 a day in sales, and it went down to like 1,000. But we were spending like 2,000.
And I couldn't come to grips with the fact that it was this world event that was happening. I think we had a few fights over it. You're like, it must be. It's got to be this coronavirus.
Right. And
it wasn't even a thing at the beginning of the month. It was still just new. So I was like, it can't possibly be affecting our
Well, and this is another lesson. Like when you have an offer that's working, we spoke about this last episode. When you have an offer that's working and then it stops working, don't go try to reinvent the wheel, which we tried to do. You were like, gotta be so. We gotta move this around, move that around. And I was buying into it. I'm like, you're right. We have to do it.
I was trying to think of anything that could, turn it around because I couldn't come to grips with it.
And then I'm like a real big. I like to follow Facebook groups just to get a pulse on what's going on. And there were a lot of people scared. In fact, one guy wrote on Facebook that his business, after 10 years, he went out of business because of the coronavirus. There was some ethical side of that, like he was teaching like international English, and he felt like he was promoting people losing or promoting death because people were like taking the coronavirus as they're traveling, so he didn't want to do that. But it was 10 years, he shut his business down. And a lot of people like us were seeing their ad costs go up and their conversions going down, right? We spend about $2,200 a day on Facebook at this point, and we usually get back about $5,000, right? We were spending literally $2,200 a day, and in some cases getting back $2,500.
And it wasn't like it was working. It was working for like 3 or 4 days or a week. This thing was working for like a month and a half.
Yeah, I mean it was working really well, and we were doing really well with it, and it just stopped. And it's hard. What's interesting about this is that everybody's businesses, and we had this conversation, like everybody's businesses are going to be affected differently because of the demographic of your audience. Okay, one of our clients is doing, at the point of this happening, was doing better than ever, and we were doing almost nothing.
Right. Total switch.
And so long story short, what we did was we said, how do we take this situation and not only help ourselves be recession proof, but also do something good, right?
Yeah, and I think it's a matter of like stop fighting it. It's just something that it's going to be, and you have to come up with the way that's going to get you through it. Right. So, and there is some opportunity to do that.
Well, and that's like, I've always heard people say, when life gives you lemons, make lemonade, as I said, right? I don't know if I always quite understood what that meant, but I think I do now. And life threw us this curveball. We were excited the business was making money. We were really happy. And then all of a sudden it just like disappeared.
Mm-hmm.
And what we did was we decided that we were going to take 10% of our profits. Now, that's not of sales. So we're going to deduct the cost of acquisition with some of the costs of the website. And then what we're going to do is whatever that profit is, we are going to donate 10% of that profit to a COVID recovery fund.
Which was it was actually a discussion that we had that was quite in depth of who we were going to donate to. You can donate to obviously the big, huge
Red Cross.
Yeah, the whole thing. But we found this like nice local charity foundation that's close. It has some kind of connection to what we're trying, what our product is.
Well, initially we were going to do like a big national, foundation, and then our partner didn't like that idea. He wanted to do local. And from our perspective, truth be told, and I wrote this in the email, like I don't really care who we give to. For me, I was always taught that, and this is because I grew up like my father being a born again Christian and going to church, and there's this thing in the church where like, well, you don't want to give your money to the wrong things, and they basically say like, look, your job is to give. It's not like don't give to things that are harming people, but you give to something that you believe is a good cause, and that is like your only obligation.
Right.
So for me personally, I didn't care who we gave to. I honestly didn't. As long as it was a reputable place and they were going to use it for what we said they were going to use it for, that was all that was important to me. To our partner, he wanted something a little bit more closer to him, to his heart, so to speak. So what we did was we put on our website just a simple line that just said 10% of the profits from your subscription are going to go towards, and I put the foundation that we're giving to, and I highlighted it in yellow so that it looked completely different than everything else on the website. I put it on the landing page. I put it on the checkout page so that they see it. Actually, I put it on the landing page, then I put it on the product page, and then I put it on the checkout page. And I basically was just reminding people through the whole process that we're giving to a good cause.
It was crazy too because after he did it, I sent him a text, I think, and I was like, "Did we send an email? Did we do something?" Because it had an immediate impact on everybody.
So people, it's interesting because a while back I heard somebody saying how you should attach your business to a cause, and people who care about that cause will buy from you, right. I guess, essentially. And I wasn't going to just make something up. I mean, that wasn't the point of this. I wasn't going to just align our company with a cause if we like.
Well, I think we all wanted to do something.
We did, and we still do. Like we were thinking about giving to like the wildlife conservation. Right.
It was funny as I was looking up charity, because we were all in this discussion via text, and we were trying to decide what charity we were going to do. And I was looking up I looked up wildlife, coronavirus, and the only thing I got was like foundations or organizations working towards stopping China from eating wildlife, which is basically how this whole thing started.
Right.
But anyway, I think like the whole situation ended up being not just about the charity that we were going to give away to, but the message that we wanted to send to people. Because I think it had a huge connection. Our partner wrote out this whole really nice. He's that's his side of the business, right? He has the connection to the product, so he comes up with the content like that. He wrote this really nice letter that we emailed to people, and it was basically like people are sitting home, people are quarantined, sitting home doing nothing in this negative space, and to be able to communicate with people and give them something a little bit more uplifting can be so powerful. And I think this is kind of that opportunity where you can deliver a message in that way, if you could kind of turn it. Now, the one thing you don't want to do is kind of like send an email, because we have another client, I didn't tell you about this, but he wanted to send an email and say, make sure you stock up, before we have to close down. I'm like, we don't want to. That's a bad look. You don't want to come across like you're trying to take advantage, like these people who are buying up all these hand sanitizers and shit. You don't want to look like that.
Right. I told my wife.
Look authentic.
Told my wife, I'm like, how long do you think we're not gonna be able to get stuff? Like, I mean, She goes, well, what about a month? I'm like, how many times you buy toilet paper in a month? She goes, once. I'm like, well, they just buy it one friggin' time. I mean, I don't understand. Like, so it's, yeah, but the interesting part is to go back to the effect that it's had is what's happening is that people who ordinarily wouldn't spend money are finding a way to convince themselves, because let's face it, and I feel the same way. Like, I always talk about, like, I should be giving more, but I'm like, who do I give to? Like I don't, but if, like, I can buy a product that I want and then they're going to give to something to help something else, like, I feel like I've given, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you can feel good about it.
You can feel good about it. And, we've talked about this in the past, and I talk about this with you a lot. It's like, you cannot, number one, you can't use your pockets to determine whether or not, somebody else will buy your product. You can never use yourself as a gauge to what other people are going to do, because they will constantly prove you wrong.
Right.
And it didn't seem to us that putting this on the website was going to completely change the psychology of the person who was buying, but it did. I mean, we are back up to levels, if not higher, than before we did this.
Yeah, and if you think about it, if you took your thinking and you say, okay, my offer this month was supposed to be 10% off. Well, turn that into something. You're not going to get 10% off, but 10% of your profits are going to go to a really good cause. Right. It's just switching the mindset.
It's just changing the message around a little bit.
Right.
The interesting part about this is you can do it without being sleazy, right? Like, if you were going to give a 10% off, like you just said, a 10% coupon, don't do that. Give that to charity. I mean, there's nothing wrong. You're not doing anything wrong, but what it does is it almost makes you recession proof, because every time something like this happens, you can attach yourself to a giving, to giving, and it will help you be quote unquote recession proof.
Yeah, and for online businesses, as bad as it might sound, this is a kind of a really big opportunity for you to get in front of a lot of people who are staying home, who are, homeschooling their kids now because all the schools are closed, where you can actually get that message in front of them. And if they saw a message, we have an old client that I still get emails from, and I just got their St. Patty's Day email that it said like $20 off. I'm like, people aren't going to buy a St. Patrick's Day offer as heavily as they would. $20 go every sale. $20 goes to a foundation that they're thinking about anyway.
Right.
So
you mean they would have done better doing that,
right? If
than giving $20 off.
Yeah, if they just switched around their messaging.
If they just said every time
people are willing to spend a little bit more if they know that they're going to be giving towards a good cause.
Right. So if you say something like, instead of saying, save $20 on your purchase of $50 or more, just say your purchase. We're going to give $20 towards a COVID-19 account or refuge or whatever the hell it's called. For every order over
especially
$50.
right now when every single person in America, in the world, is second guessing every purchase they make. Right. Whether it's going to be the last time they can get it, or they're going to have to buy paper towels and toilet paper next week. They're not going to be able to afford it. So you got to do what you can to make that connection with people.
Yeah, I mean, and this is like, again, at the end of the day, you're helping people and you're also helping yourself. I mean, you're helping your business, and look, we're potentially going to be donating thousands of dollars.
And it's going to feel good. It's going to be awesome. I'm going to love that.
Right. I mean, if we did, I don't know, we did 122K last month. I don't know how much of that is profit, maybe half of that. And you take 10.
It would have been like $6,000 or something. $6,000-7,000. It would be nice.
Yeah. I mean, that's not zero.
Yeah, so I think the point of it is just, take this time. You might be struggling right now. Take your time to just figure out a way where you can kind of switch up your messaging a little bit to make that psychological connection with people who are sitting home thinking about this thing and worrying about this thing, and how, like Jason said, wondering how they can help from their couch, basically. And this is a really good way.
Yeah, I mean, I know me. I just had a second kid, and I have a 6-year-old at home, and like one of the things, I mean, it's not really, I'm not really thinking about this, but my wife is. Like, one of the things that's really stressing her out is like, how is she going to keep my 6-year-old occupied he doesn't go back to school for a month. April 14th, he goes back to school.
Yeah.
So like, she's like, what am I going to do with him for a month?
I don't know what my wife's going to do either. Like, she's got that teacher mentality, and my kids are a little bit older than yours, but like, even starting this morning, like, they were complaining. I was like, I don't know how this is going to go. This is going to be crazy.
Well,
so
right.
Things like this to get people's mind off of the craziness that's happening. And no matter what your product is, I feel like there's a twist that you can take on it to really have an impact and turn things around for you if you are having some issues.
Yeah, and the interesting part about it is like, it took us 2 weeks to figure this out, and it's not always obvious.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So,
all right, you all good, Jay?
I'm good.
All right. Before we go sign up for Klaviyo at Klaviyo.com/uncensored. That's KLAVIYO.com. They're a super powerful e-commerce email platform, growth marketing platform. So go check them out.
Yeah, and then if you want to make your business like Amazon, you're going to go to Rakuten Super Logistics.
Yeah, and they'll give you a $500 check if they cannot beat your current pricing.
Yeah, and you go to ecommerceuncensored.com/RSL.
Rakuten Super Logistics. Right. So that's RSL.
Right.
All right. Thank you guys so much for listening.
Whoa. Don't forget. Sign up for the course. You can get 50% off at ecommerceuncensored.com/truth. And the course is called The Truth About Facebook Ads. So
thank you, Jason. I almost forgot.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you guys so much for listening. It's been episode 161, and we'll talk to you guys real soon.